be featured in the League of Women Voters is a nonpartisan political organization. We encourage the informed and active participation of citizens in government. The League works to increase understanding of major public policy issues and influences public policy through education and advocacy. And today we're pleased to host this voter information event. It is our first candidate forum for the primary election. The format is virtual. We ask that candidates and viewers eliminate distractions and give the forum their undivided attention as they would for an in-person event. Our moderator this evening is Barb Lamons. Barb joined the League of Women Voters of Wheaton in 2014. She is a past League president and has served as voter service chair and on the Civic Education Committee. A former civics and psychology teacher, Barb is a past co-chair of the League of Women Voters of Illinois Task Force on Mis- and Disinformation and is on the planning board for the League of Women Voters National Institute for Civic Discourse. Barb lives in West Chicago. Welcome, Barb.
Thanks, Heather. Good evening, everyone. It's an honor for me to moderate tonight's candidate forum. I would like to begin by reviewing some of the league ground rules for candidate forums. All candidates have signed and returned the ground rules. These rules specify the format, time limits, and other rules related to the conduct of the forum, and I will be responsible for enforcing these rules. The candidates will begin in alphabetical order with their opening statements. They will alternate the order in which they answer questions. And after the question portion of the forum, each candidate will give a closing statement. Each candidate will have 1.5 minutes for their opening statement, 1.5 minutes to respond to each question, and up to 1.5 minutes for their closing statement. These responses will be timed, as you will see on the screen. The questions have been gathered in advance from the public. A panel of experienced members of the League of Women Voters has reviewed the questions submitted and carefully screened the questions for appropriateness for the office and to avoid duplication for tonight's event. The event tonight is being recorded. The League claims copyright ownership of any recording or transcript produced of this forum. The forum will be posted in its entirety on the League's website, social media platforms, and on vote411.org. Any other use of the forum recording requires the express written approval of the League. Audio and video must be broadcast unedited and in its entirety except by the media reporting and events. Finally, I want to emphasize how grateful we are for these candidates who are not only willing to serve in office, but who have agreed to be here tonight. So candidates, I'd like to welcome you to the screen now. Please start your video and unmute. Welcome to you both. We'll begin with opening statements. So candidate Hussein, you have 1.5 minutes for your opening statement.
Thank you, Barb. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
excellent. It's great to see you again, and my appreciation also to the League and specifically the Glen Ellen chapter for hosting us and having this opportunity for voters to learn more about us and to engage in excuse me, in the process, right? In our political sphere, which is so important in this day and age that we're going through. We need candidates, we need folks who are strong, values-oriented Democrats. I'm a lifelong Democrat that has consistently voted for our priorities and our values, and I hope to talk to you more about that today. I've lived in this area for more than a decade, raised my children here. We are active in the civic space, and I'm vice chair of the Historic Commission here in Wheaton, and count a number of friends and colleagues in various organizations, institutions in the surrounding area. Very happy to be here and stand for an opportunity for change in a seat that's been unchanged in 23 years. It's crucial for us to bring all of our voices into DuPage County, and I'm looking forward to being your representative. Thank you.
Thank you. Candidate McGowan, you have 1.5 minutes for your opening statement.
Thank you and good evening. Thank you for having us. My name is Paula McGowan, and I've lived in DuPage County all my life. I'm running to represent DuPage County District 4 because I believe county government should be practical, transparent, and focused on what actually improves the people's lives in DuPage County. I'm proud to already serve our community as a Milton Township trustee and as a trustee for the Regional Board of Education. I'm involved because I care about where we live, how we grow, and what we leave to our next generation. I'm also a member of the Glen Ellen Historical Society and the Glen Ellen League of Women Voters because strong communities are built by people who show up, stay informed, and are engaged. I'm not new to rolling up my sleeves and getting results. I was instrumental in getting the 708 Mental Health Board referendum passed in Milton Township because access to mental health care shouldn't depend on luck, zip code, or income. When families are in crisis, they need help close to home and they need it without delay. I also led the opposition to an unnecessary $70 million expansion of the DuPage County Jail. I believe in public safety, but I also believe in smart spending. I stood up, asked hard questions, and pushed back on a plan that did not make sense to me at all. And by doing that, I helped save DuPage County taxpayers millions of hard-earned dollars. As your District 4 representatives, my goals are straightforward. First, I will
Thank
work.
you. Thank you. I'm afraid your time is
Oh,
up, Candidate
thank you.
McGowan. Okay. But Candidate McGowan, we'll begin the first question with you. What are the most important challenges facing DuPage County, and how do you propose to address them?
Um, well, the food insecurity and affordable housings are my first priority. Getting on to the county board. I work with local partners to expand our food pantries capability, improve distributions, and provide higher quality nutrition options, meeting basic needs, strengthening a healthier, more resistant community. I will also focus on housing by partnering with local organizations, churches, and volunteers to connect residents with rental assistance, emergency shelter, and supportive services. I will push to cut the red tape, and that's the hardest thing. Is it's the red tape so people can access housings faster. Everyone deserves a stable home, a peace of mind, and together we can build a pathway to stability and better opportunities.
Thank you. Candidate Hussein, the same question. What are the most important challenges facing DuPage County, and how do you propose to address them?
I agree with Paul. I think the most important issues are indeed of attainable housing and food insecurity and just overall cost of living and wellness. And, we're very fortunate the township has piloted a program that is related to community gardens and personal gardens, bringing fresh produce into pantries. And I'd look to expanding that program as a first step and broadening that across the county with micro grants and excuse me, other small scale initiatives so that we can look at repeatable processes and scalable efforts. Beyond that, it's really important for us to think on a broader scale for all these initiatives and more in terms of unity. We have a variety um, of demographics, of income levels, and so forth within county, and we need to come together. And so, unity is one of my key principles. When we start to think about one DuPage together, unified, we start to put aside some of these solutions and some of the othering that may exist. And we start to think together about how we can help our neighbors and help each other. And I think that's really important. And then, of course, county has a variety of resources at its disposal to look at for improving processes and leveraging data and technology smartly so that, thank you.
Thank you. Candidate Hussein, what will you do as a board member to support a vibrant economy in DuPage County?
Absolutely. So growth is another one of my key principles. And so we have, as I was just mentioning in the previous answer, we have a lot of information at our fingertips. And so we should have vibrant retail spaces and industrial spaces. Office buildings that are presently vacant can be repurposed, reused, maximized. And so collecting the information within various county databases to then smartly use AI and technology so that we can, excuse me, uh, proactively provide ideas to the business community, partner with the nonprofit community and our surrounding partnering organizations and municipalities to uh, fill these spaces. A vibrant economy then in turn creates jobs. It provides opportunities for residents. It provides a broader base of support rather than relying so heavily on property taxes for residents. And it just produces circular positive effect, net positive effect. And so that's really important for me. And this is something that we can do fairly easily, I think, because all of the information is already there. We just have to learn to leverage it and harness it more smartly. And there's initiatives underway that are piloting. We saw the corridor with the hotels and businesses in Naperville, and the shuttle that is extended from
Thank you. I'll let you finish your sentence.
extended from O'Hare in order to bring more convention traffic to this area. And so we have the model already in place.
Great, thank you. And so, candidate McGowan, what will you do as a board member to support a vibrant economy in DuPage County?
Well, I think that we need to bring more business into the county, maybe give them some tax breaks for new businesses. Rental is so expensive in the county. I think they need to kind of work on that, maybe help out the business owners. I think we've got a lot of access with a lot of the programs that we could bring together at the county level. But what are some things I could bring to the county board? I could, bring willingness to ask questions, and I like to do my homework and engage thoughtfully. And when it's uncomfortable, I'm not interested in rubber stamping decisions. I believe in good governance, requiring curiosity, independence, and accountability. And I'm comfortable in speaking up respectively when something needs clarification or discussion. But I really think that we do have all the background and leverage at the county to work together and bring good governance and businesses together. Thank you.
Thank you. So, candidate McGowan, do you believe that voting in DuPage County is both accessible and secure?
Yes, I do. I believe we do have the best security in this country. I believe that we should work together in every department. I would look at every department because they're the ones that know how much money that they need in every department. We can't judge that. They know it, and we should be accountable for them at their department to give them the amount of money to have a good election, to have every department do the best that they can in every department. So I do believe that we do have a good election, accountability, and a safe one.
Thank you. Candidate Hussein, the same question. Do you believe that voting in DuPage County is both accessible and secure?
I do, and I appreciate the question. It's notable that our county had to stop the ability to vote for a few days, but it really didn't affect people across much of the state. And, kudos to our clerk for enabling a system in which DuPage County residents can come out and vote early. Unfortunately, because of the underlying causes, we did have to pause. But we are at the forefront of what is feasible in terms of the ability to vote early and make your voice heard in a variety of ways. We do, have to transfer the lessons and the paradigms of the corporate realm and of the nonprofit realm also into our governmental sector. And so it's really important to understand that the board has certain responsibilities, the leadership has certain responsibilities on down. And so each organization, independent department, however you want to think about it in these parallel spaces, is accountable and answerable and has to fit the pattern of documentation and responsibility that's required so that the whole organization can function at its full capacity. We operate a $660 million budget, and that's significant and requires a lot of checks and balances. And
Thank you. Candidate Hussein, what environmental issues do you see DuPage County facing? And as a board member, what action would you propose?
I think the most pressing environmental concern that we see as residents is stormwater and the mitigation of stormwater. I think we have, unfortunately, the way our local governments are set up, we have layers between the municipalities and the local township level and county. And so it's important for these various organizations to come together and be more collaborative and holistic in addressing these concerns. And also, um, my son is taking sustainability in addition to technology major. And so, how can we look at natural ways to remediate to nullify the effects of stormwater and the the number of roads and so forth that we have within the county? I think it really requires us to step back and address this issue proactively. Rains are increasing. The forecasts have shown more and more flooding over time in the last few years. The floods have gotten more severe, and so we really need to think about stormwater as a primary environmental concern that we can have an impact on directly based on our actions, and and then work together as a community. The call goes out to clear your local sewer manhole cover and so forth every so often here in Wheaton, and it's important for us to do that and work together and understand.
Thank you. Candidate McGowan, what environmental issues do you see DuPage County facing? And as a board member, what action would you propose?
Well, I live in unincorporated Glen Ellen, and we have a lot of problems. I mean, not constant every day, but we do have water main breaks. I think we have a lot of old pipes, maybe small pipes, and I think we need to get larger pipes put in. I see them working on the main roads also with sewer problems, and they're digging up manholes all the time. And I think we've got to have some new infrastructure to eliminate a lot of these problems. A lot of work needs to be done in that field to stop the flooding that we do have, especially in the winter, going down like in Glen Ellen, down the roads, down the hills, and water just sits there and piles up, and then we get the ice on there, and that's very dangerous. So I think we need a better system or some new systems put in for the piping, for for the flooding.
Thank you. Candidate McGowan, affordable housing is a concern for many. What role should the county play in addressing housing affordability?
Um, well, food insecurity and affordable housing is my priority, and I think um, that we need to work with local partners and in the food pantries. Um, I've I've worked with the Milton Township for the food pantry for people that can't afford it. We need affordable housing. The affordable housing, people are living on, maybe when I see them come into the food pantry and they're trying very hard. They're working. They are working, but they can't afford $2,700 for rent. They're making $20 an hour. That means 30% of their wages would be $960 for rental. There's no affordable housing out here. And I think the county can work together. We can apply for grants. There's all kinds of land we can get, and we need to do something with affordable housing. That's very important to me, especially with seniors that are living with a small income. And there's young people that are very hard workers, but they're not making the money that they need in DuPage County. So we do need affordable housing. That is a must. Thank you.
Thank you. Candidate Hussein, affordable housing is a concern for many. What role should the county play in addressing housing affordability?
Absolutely. So I spoke earlier about growth and about unity, and both of these pillars then lead into affordable housing, attainable housing as well, sustainable housing. It's really important that our economy be robust and that we add additional revenue streams into our capacity, and that then can trigger, a variety of grants, micro grants, organizational grants, encourage housing to be built, convert existing facilities and structures that aren't being used, and incentivize those areas to be developed. I think we can look at adjusting rates, tax, transfer tax, things like that, and what are the levers that are available to us to make housing more attainable and really understand, what's the disparity and what can we do to bridge that gap and increase home ownership within county. A lot of people leave the city to come to DuPage, and a lot of people come to DuPage for the opportunities and the standard of living, the way of life that we have here, to raise their children in the good schools and so forth. But we can't let people be priced out and continue to operate.
Thank you, candidate Hussein. The next question is about transportation. What is your vision for improving county transportation options, including public transit and bike and pedestrian infrastructure?
Thank you. The various municipalities around us have enacted laws and regulations around bicycles, electric bicycles, and so forth. I think we're past due for having bike lanes on almost all of our roadways. It's really important for us as a county to support alternate means of transit in addition to vehicle-based traffic, which also needs to be able to move more effectively through county roadways, major roadways. And then we have a new partner in our public transit space, so excited to see what the future holds with this broader consortium of of communities that will look at what is it that will come from the new busing and railways and so forth. But we also need to look at areas that are underserved and, for example, look at the pilot that's going on in the southeast and see how that can be broadened, what lessons can be learned, and what are the opportunities for areas that are underserved and that are basically desolate after a certain time in the evening to become more vibrant and increase traffic there. And I think.
Thank you. Candidate McGowan, the same question. What is your vision for improving county transportation options, including public transit and bike and pedestrian infrastructure?
But you can see now that there are more electric bikes on the road. I mean, we have them in unincorporated area that they're riding all over. And there's going to have to be some kind of special aisle for them to be riding these bikes or electric bikes unless they're given a license to drive on the regular road. But bicycles aren't. But we need more bikes on the road. We need electric bikes. We need bus services. We need transportation for the seniors. Some townships do have transportations for the seniors, but not all of them do, and because of the money. And so I think we need more transportation for the seniors, but they have to be able to get into those buses. And some of them need the low style buses or even cars from townships that they can get around in with seniors. But transportation for the buses are a need, and we need more bus service.
Thank you. Candidate McGowan, how will you ensure that the voices of all District 4 residents, including underrepresented communities, are heard and included in county decisions?
Okay. Um, I think they need to be heard, and a lot of them aren't heard, and they're afraid to come out and be heard because they're afraid that they'll be looked down on. And I think we need to bring these people out. I would like to go and go to some of the communities um, that have seniors, uh, because they can't come out to us, and just even they can write notes to me. They can put it down in a bucket or whatever they want to do in case they don't want to say their names or come out and say something. But I think it's needed that the people need to be able to um, say how they feel without being looked down at. And sometimes they don't want to even come to the county board because of that reason. And so I like to go out there and reach to all those people in the churches, in senior centers, which I do now. And I really enjoy doing that, talking to a lot of the seniors and finding out what their problems are and what their needs are.
Thank you. Candidate Hussein, how will you ensure that the voices of all District 4 residents, including underrepresented communities, are heard and included in county decisions?
There's definitely two paths that we could take, and we probably should take at least those two, probably more. The one is to meet people where they are. And so I had this conversation actually earlier this afternoon, where I was asked if I will, continue to connect with people, if elected. And I said, I'd love to meet people at coffee shops. I'd love to engage with people, at the library and other public spaces. I'd love to, engage with people at institutions and organizations and, hear on a regular basis what their thoughts and concerns are, as well as be able to, have direct contact and feedback, as I've done for so many years in the workplace, with the actual folks that are being impacted by the policies that are being discussed at the board meetings. Every 2 weeks there's a meeting and there's some topics that come up, and so the agenda comes out in advance. And if there's a structure in place that I'd like to put together for the district, then we can engage all of these voices. And then the second part is to reach out and proactively provide that information, much like is happening. Connect with people via electronic means, newsletter, have an app. Wheaton is doing this. The township has started this. The highway commissioner has started an interactive app. And so, we have models again in front of us that we can emulate that are high effect and low impact. And so I like to pursue.
Thank you. Candidate Hussein, DuPage County budget affects taxes and services. Are there specific spending areas that you would increase or cut, and why?
It's a great question. Our budget is larger than our population is larger than the population of a number of states, such as Wyoming and North Dakota, and the budget is in accordance with that. It's 660 million plus. And so, really looking at areas where there are opportunities to create more efficiency and synergy among departments, among divisions that are performing similar tasks, and areas that are underutilized. We really need to be able to measure and understand the impact of our dollars. And at the same time, we're very fortunate that this year there's a surplus, and the board has decided to provide additional funding in a number of areas, including directed grants and so forth. And so, how do we increase that? How do we look at, for example, the care center and the great work that it's doing, and be able to measure, but then also inject more funds so that they can broaden their services. This is really important, the services that are used, and then being able to provide those services, as you asked earlier, across all populations and in multiple languages, and for folks in multiple demographics and areas, and enabling them to come more easily or come to where they are with mobile services and so forth. This is really important so that folks understand what's available to them and can avail.
Thank you. Candidate McGowan, DuPage County budget affects taxes and services. Are there specific spending areas that you would increase or cut, and why?
Well, DuPage County is a strong financial in a strong financial position. We're an affluent county, so revenue is not a problem, but discipline is. My focus is on spending taxpayers' dollars is wisely, priority core services, and demanding measurable results. I support a balanced budgets, long-term planning, and keeping reserves healthy to protect our bond rating and avoid tax spikes. I would advocate for performance-based budgeting, strengthening audits and transparency, and tie new spending to clear outcomes. We can invest in infrastructure, public safety, and a stronger mental health network while holding the line on waste, duplication, and unnecessary expansions.
Thank you. Well, this will be our last question, so you can take a deep breath and just say, "Wow." And we'll begin with candidate McGowan. How should DuPage County work with municipalities, the state, and neighboring counties to solve regional challenges?
I think we do a pretty good job on working with the townships. I mean, there's 9 townships, and our county works with all of them. Municipalities in Glen Ellen, Wheaton, Lombard. I mean, I've been to so many meetings of different municipalities, and we bring up the county working together with all of us. So I think we do a remarkable job, and I can't say anything wrong about it. I think it's, well, we can always improve, but we're doing really well together, working together.
Thank you. And candidate Hussein, how will you ensure that, oh, I'm sorry, do you see the county working together with the state, other counties and municipalities?
One thing that I'm seeing through this election cycle and trying to activate our voices and get people to come out in an off-cycle election is that people don't really understand how the layers of government overlap within a region. And so, I'm always explaining kind of my boundary streets, and over here you have Delia Ramirez, but over here you have and so forth. And so it's really important for us to interact with these other organizations and these other leaders, but take a stronger role as leaders in that conversation. We have a lot that we can bring to the table as a board. We're a very strong board of 18 people that work well together, and and we have a lot of resources and provide services to a very broad resident base. And so understanding again, as I've done in the workplace, where the challenges are and the pain points are for the individual municipalities and organizations, and then bringing that back and coordinating with our folks down in Springfield as well as at the federal level to really um, you know increase services and capacity and build a base of community is really important.
Thank you. Well, thank you both. And what I'd like to have you do now is give us present your closing statement. You'll each have 1.5 minutes, and we'll begin with candidate Hussein.
Thank you, Barb. I really appreciate it. Born and raised in Chicago and Indianapolis, I've lived in and around Wheaton within District 4 for more than 10 years. My children have gone to school here. We see the value of the schools, District 41, 87, COD, and we've engaged within the uh, the services, the various public services, the communities, and we've given back. I've always given back as part of who I am and what I do. And it's really important for me as my children grow to give back beyond, the organizations and scouting and schooling and so forth. And that's why I asked to be part of the Historic Commission. That's why I took the class with Wheaton Citizens Fire Academy and Police Academy. That's why I just finished my course at DuPage Sheriff as a citizens attendee there. And I just have this curiosity to learn and this desire to give back, and that's why I'm running. And I hope to earn your confidence and your vote, and look forward to engaging with you further. If I haven't knocked at your door yet, I'll be coming soon. And look forward to the engagement and just all of our voices being activated and really stand firmly together in a way that we've been doing. Thank you.
Thank you. And Candidate McGowan, your 1.5 minute closing statement, please.
Thank you. As your District 4 representative, my goals are straightforward. First, I will work to acquire and support more affordable housing in DuPage County for both who are struggling and for our seniors who deserve to age with dignity and stability. Second, I will fight to expand our mental health network, more access, better coordination, and real accountability for outcomes so people can get care before problems become emergencies. I want to leave something before I leave this world to the next generation in good hands. This campaign is about priorities, investing in people, protecting taxpayers, and making county government work better for everyone. I would be honored to earn your vote and would be proud to serve. Thank you.
Thank you both. Candidate Hussein and Candidate McDowell, good luck on the campaign trail. And you can now turn off your cameras and
Okay.
mute yourselves.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Goodbye.
We appreciate your participation in watching a candidate forum or participating as a candidate. For 100% nonpartisan election information, please go to vote411.org, powered by the League of Women Voters, and visit the Glen Ellen League website, lwvge.org, where you can find recordings of local candidate forums. Please remember to vote. It's essential to our freedom and our country. Heather?
Thank you so much. Thank you to our candidates and to everyone who attended tonight. Links for this forum and our recent forums for Congressional District 6 and Illinois House 42 will be posted on our website at lwvge.org and also on vote411.org. Videos for candidate forums held for the U.S. Senate races, both Democratic and Republican, as well as forums held by the Elmhurst League of Women Voters for the DuPage County Sheriff and DuPage County Clerk are also posted on our website, lwvge.org. Thank you so much. Have a great night.